The Americans will help us to strive for the best things here in the Philippines. We will subject ourselves to gain more knowledge about the studies in politics, to be an infinite time to gain knowledge, to very seclusion into a room to concentrate on the necessary facts that we have been encountering in our everyday lives. Let us control these feelings. Let us control our thoughts to increase our knowledge about Duterte's rule. Let us wayward our navigating minds that the establishments in the Philippines will be increased in their territory and the population will be eventualized by the occurrences happening in the Philippines. At the point of time that the military will gain their rule as a guard, as a our guardians, as to very accommodating to our fellow men, their uniforms can be a great sense in this contrary, in this context of navigating our people to a progress, never confessing those ways, but we will concentrate on the things we are going to admire between the facts and the figures here, which can levitate our susceptible abilities into actions. But if you do something wrong, because Duterte will rule this, Duterte will be the president for 2016 elections up to 2022, we will go ahead of time. We will force ourselves to think ahead because we are not going to be confused already. The televisions, like the televisions we used to see, have become have confused us because the emotions that we are accumulating from that television will have an affected area of our minds, but we should think positively in this context. We should let our President Duterte to rule, and for some, in any cases, it is not a good vibe to make a connection with criminals, right? Because we're organizing the Philippines, the territory from Region 1 to Region 12 will be enhanced by the Constitution, which we will follow our leader and make them make it a good knowledge about for attaining our wisdom, and we will reorder this reverberations from our minds, not be confused, and be confident of the kind we are going to stabilize in our relationship between the United States and all the countries here. We will be a role model. Philippines will be number one country. We will try to be number one because there's no problem here if we just try to become a role model uh, for the globe of this universe. We will talk about the constitution, stabilization, the projection, and internalize our thoughts. And this legislator and the Supreme Court will be included in this concept because they will judge those people, those criminals who subject to criminality. Because we are step by step culturalizing our culture in this context, and even before we are going to we are, and even before we are relying on the things, the leaders like Ferdinand Marcos, and then the the reigning Bongbong Marcos vice president. With him, he can justify, he can examine those things, can lift up the papers, lift up the documents. Those truth will shall prevail. The truth, contrary and connected upon leadership of being uh, an exerting effort for an absence of the criminal drug and drugs abuse. It is constant that the military will move out when it is necessary because they are the ones who can control the people. The members of the Senate committee should be followed by the barangays and the governors, and the rule for presidency should be followed by the Senate committee. The secretaries involved in there, all those things, the appealable cases of a writ of habeas corpus, and the technology which we will include in this concept because we are going to advance ourselves to the future. And the vibers inside the committee will be apprehended and controlled by the Supreme Court justices. We will come up to the point that there is no theory, that there is no theory involved, that there is reality involved in this lateral aspect of culminating the mandate of the monetary fund and give the tax ahead in time. We should focus into our errands, run our errands into a way of delivering these things and accumulating those opinions that the people will make time from their perspective during uh, their sus- uh, s- suspicion about the criminals. Moreover, we are going to forward in this advance politically assigning ourselves to let the things that people will be the standard direction towards the aiming for the progress and the development committee. And we will assign people those works which will be their duties to pay upon the taxes, to pay upon the rent for the present present form of extracurricular activities, and then we will vitalize. And this rule of Duterte will be a gaining effort, which will be enhanced by the security level. We should protect Duterte during his rule because he's the most important one in our Philippine government, in our Philippine Republic. We must follow the rules to become a peaceful and ordering border between Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. May we subject ourselves to determination. We are determined, notwithstanding that we are fearing the criminals ahead, but likely we will decrease those crime rates because we are now aware of the inner core of our of our selecting movements in the military rule. The second, the third will be the Senate, talking about the advances through technology. Our technocrats are involved in this. Our technocrats are so being accommodating, like the Globe and Smart. They are the popular ones who are contributing to our country. They are most likely to have gadgets, the military, with their full equipment of armaments, because we will support this military rule of the government from Duterte's rule, because he is the way to centralize this problem. We should centralize the problem and we will solve the problem easily, not not to a mere fact that we are going to take actions, but we should review our families, our friends. We should review our the backgrounds of our acquaintances We should review the context from the internet communicating materials in the internet and seemingly stuck on our vast performance for moving and creating a subjective effort like the possibility to make a language performance to our communicating countries like USA and Thailand and even the whole country will be now enhanced by borders. We will subject these matters of possibility with the rule from Duterte's leadership. That's the thing. I think that's the meaning of this 2000 elections, 2016 elections. It's the millennium year. The 2000 should be uh, become a wide range of wide range of communicating people by their connections and referring to our connections to involve in this contrary and to some aspects to control some of our personality to the attributes gained by some our enemies. We should be friends with our enemies. We should be controlling the things that the enemies will attack us. But we will separate the shining borders of the legislative form of government and form a government that will solve the problem, entice those peoples to join the community. Because if we solemnly act on it, it will be effective to ourselves. We will desperately gain boundary because it is a form of government that the solicitude of the Senate of the superior higher order, the higher order will mandate those intercepts from the political stability, from the political stability of the several justices. They will keep up their work together as an executive form of this jurisdiction, which the political borders will sublimely increase their manpower, and 40 of them, the leaders from all over the world, we will, from the UN, because the UN will gratify our requests about the peace and order. If we have peace, there is no problem because there is stableness. We can live freely by our freedom, portray these scenarios, and yet vi- vitalizing the vitality of the Filipino Republic. And now we can secretly uh, involve in this by some chosen associates. And let this be true to ourselves that the likeness of our image in this credibility and the leadership that shuts out the criminals because we cannot concentrate on the fact that they have criminals in our community. How can we be concentrating if we have criminals in our community, right? How can we be concentrating on the land reforms? The first thing first is the priority to eliminate crimes, eliminate drugs. We should con- contradict those drug lords because they are they are destroying the community, the human community, the humanities, which been bundled up, which will it is piled up. It is piled up. The problems here in the Philippines are piled up, like the squatter areas. We can see the people leave the the several necessities because there is no development. But you could help this reform to just write the name of Duterte to hunt down criminals, like the escalated wave of form of government that we could go to the top and we should uh, try to strive our best for this upcoming elections. We should go, and it is a tradition that we are fighting for reform and we are longing for reform. How should we long for reform? Just simply write the name of Duterte, just and the and the chosen people. I can assure you that these justices, the Supreme Court justices, will fight also, will gain their knowledge about these criminals and investigate with the NBI. So we could uh, foresee which criminal should be executed or should be punished. But we can ask Duterte to rule. How? But we can right now. It is uh, a trembling, like a trembling effort. It is just a central efforts will be uh, looking forward our efforts looking the efforts, looking for the efforts that we will be eventualizing this as our constitutional restitution, where the members of the Senate will let them become as- uh, breaking the ice for some reasons, but we can we are not we are not we cannot afford stalemates. We cannot afford deadlocks. Our economic form of government cannot afford delays. We should decide at once. Like Duterte, he will decide who can be the acting secretaries for the subordinate uh, departments and the establishments that we can be the guide from the grassroots of the barangays. We should guide them for an advanced breakthrough in this country and being ventilating our nostrils with the oxygen to we will so we can inhale and exhale the life that the God has given us. Whoever whoever these criminals are, the criminal the criminal who encounters execution because it is their faults. Criminals they chose to guide their selves to drugs, to let them choose drugs, the pushers. This is the only the opinion that will help to campaign for Duterte's rule. Should you can uh, review, but it is a mere fact that it is obvious that we can internalize our thoughts and support military rule. Of course, they will be the guardians. The victory of Duterte.